These are books about Black girls being absolutely loved down. There are 18 books here, so I'm gonna share with you guys all the books that I think that you guys will love. If you guys really have a hard time finding diverse reads, make sure you guys are subscribed because I absolutely love reading diverse stories, and I share new videos every Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. So let's just get into this video. I'm going to break up all of these books into like sections so that you can kind of know what you're getting into whenever you like read one of these books. So these 3 books are books that are like your typical book talk books. Like if you like reading books by like Hannah Grace, who wrote Icebreaker, or just like, you know, the funny, cutesy, like Tessa Bailey like books, you know what I mean? Like you will really like these 3. The first one is Lipstick and Camera Clicks by DJ Murphy. This book is so underrated. Like there are not nearly enough reviews for this book. Please pick this one up. I wanted to share lots of books in this video that I feel like a lot of people haven't talked about, and then some that are like a little bit more popular. And I've also shared 2 more videos that have more book recs, but these are all books that I'm pretty sure I have not shared in previous like book videos where I'm talking about books that are about Black girls being loved down. And this is such a really good book because it's about a girl who goes on to a reality TV show. She decides to go on because she's just like, you know what do I have to lose? She goes on, she ends up falling in love with the producer, but also there's the love interest of this like TV show, and it's kind of like giving The Bachelor type vibes. So it's kind of a love triangle because she's feeling both of them, and it is just really good. There's lots of mess and drama. Super fun, really good banter, and this one again is one I think that people will like if they like the typical book talk type book. And then Our Secret Moments by Denisha Boswell. I loved this book so much. I rated this 4.5 out of 5 stars. Honestly, I love all these books. Like I'm pretty sure all these books are rated 4 stars and above. Like this one I know I for sure rated 4 stars. This one, so good. If you like Icebreaker by Hannah Grace, I feel like this is almost a better version of Icebreaker because it's about a girl who has to like help the football team because they have like a paper that no one's been like really reading, like a newspaper about the football team. No one's really been reading it for the longest. So her professor or teacher is like, hey, I want you to work on this paper and I want you to interview the guy, you know, the popular guy, the guy who plays football, like the guy of, you know, the school. And so she's like, okay, I can do that. I actually already know this guy because he's my best friend's brother. They've already kind of had like a frenemies situation, like they're friends, but like they're also kind of like enemies because they have like so much banter back and forth with each other. And they kind of have feelings for each other. It is so good. There's also so much found family because he's on the football team and you really get connected with all those characters. Plus she has 3 besties that she's super close with. So it's such a good book, and I already bought the second book of the series and cannot wait to pick it up. Another book that is so funny is Curvy Girl Summer by Danielle Allen. This is one of my auto-buy authors. I'm pretty sure I rated this 4.5 out of 5 stars. It is so funny. Like the way that these characters go back and forth to me is hilarious. Like I feel like sarcasm is so dead in books, and like I need more sarcasm between characters in books, and they definitely give that. Like this entire book is just like so funny. So it's about a girl whose parents have been really pressuring her to get with like a guy, like get a husband, get a boyfriend, and she's just like, hold on, hold your horses. I am gonna like figure this out on my own, so I'm gonna start going on dates. So she starts going on dates with all these like online like guys like from dating apps. When she's going on dates, she goes to the same restaurant, and the bartender of that restaurant is like, hey, it's kind of like unsafe for you to like do this by yourself. I can actually help you and just like be available just in case something goes down. She's like, cool. So she goes on all these crazy dates. There's so many mishaps, and while that's happening, she's kind of starting to have feelings for him. I love Danielle Allen's writing. I think this is like my 3rd book of hers, but I own like 2 more. Like I cannot wait to pick up more from her books. So those are 3 really good books. And then I have 5 books, and all of these books are books if you like a deeper read, something that's going to give you something to chew on or think about. I feel like these are the books that I recommend to people who maybe read contemporary fiction and kind of want to like dip their toe into like romance and something like cutesy. I also feel like this is good for people who love reading like Emily Henry's writing, just like deeper stories, you know what I mean? Like that have themes that are outside of what you would normally see in a romance. And the first book is Rosewater by Liv Little. This book is technically in the contemporary fiction section, but it's giving romance. Like the whole book is like straight romance. This is also a queer read, and I enjoyed this story because it is one that I feel like was beautiful because it was really poetic, and it also is about a girl who is kind of starting to have feelings for her best friend. But obviously there comes some issues with that when you are like living together and you've been friends for a long time. So you see that, but you also see that she's had to work through some things on her own. And like the ending, it came out of nowhere. I had no idea how this story was gonna end, and I was like very, very surprised by it. But I think it was a really good story. And another book that I think is great if you like a heartfelt romance is The Mixtape by Brittany Cherry. This is one of my auto-buy authors. Like, I pick up her books anytime she like writes something. I will buy it. If you like Archer's Voice, books that are like really heartfelt and deep, you will like this story. It's about a guy who is in like a very deep depression. You figure out why like at the beginning of this story, and he's really, really struggling. And then he meets this girl who kind of like helps bring him out of that, but she also has a lot going on. Like she has a daughter and she's really struggling financially. So you kind of see them connect and save each other in a way. It is just beautiful. I rated this one 4.5 out of 5 stars. Just such a great read. And again, she's one of my auto-buy authors. Like I've read like 5 or 6 of her books, and I own like, I swear, every book that she's written. And another author that is an auto-buy author for me is Kennedy Ryan, and This Could Be Us actually came out at the beginning of this year. This was a 5-star read for me. I think that this is the perfect book if you normally read contemporary fiction and you don't normally read romance, because honestly, a lot of people who've read this have said that the romance was almost like a subplot of it, which I feel like gives like Emily Henry vibes in some of her books, like Happy Place. And this book for me was so much more about self-love than anything. It's about a girl named Soledad who she is in like a really wild marriage. Like she's got a lot going on in her marriage, and she has to kind of figure out how to stand on her own 2 feet without the support of her partner. And you see that as she's doing that, you see that she's learning how to love herself as well. There is a love interest in this, and I love these characters. Also, if you've read All About Love by Bell Hooks, there's lots of like little quotes from that in here as well, because she's learning how to love herself and she's reading that. So again, this is perfect for the contemporary fiction lovers. I also feel like another great book that is very deep and heartfelt is Between Friends and Lovers. This actually just came out and I cannot recommend it enough. This one is about a girl who is a doctor, but she's also like an influencer as well, and her best friend's like super famous and she's always had feelings for him. And I feel like if you've been someone who maybe you've had feelings for your best friend for a really long time, this is the perfect book to read, because she gets to a point where she's like, I'm done. Like I am done waiting on you to maybe have feelings for me, waiting for you to see me as valuable. Like I'm done waiting. And so she ends up going out and being like, I'm just gonna like live my life. Like I'm gonna maybe like start dating or maybe do this and that. And like you can see her try to figure things out. And this ends up kind of being a love triangle as well. There's 2 different guys here. You also see this main character really struggle with depression, and you see her community show up for her, which is so beautiful. But again, this is a great book for people who love like Emily Henry's writing or very deep writing, because literally she wrote a quote on the front that says, what a beautiful, emotional, generous, good-hearted book. That's literally what Emily Henry wrote about this book. So pick it up, it's very good. Another good book that I think is great if you've read maybe like something from Sally Rooney or like Renee Carlino, something that maybe doesn't have a happy ending. I'll just say that. You should read When I Think of You by Maya Ariel. This is a story that feels so real. The main character, she's kind of been hating her job for the longest, and she's been working in it and just like, I don't know what I'm gonna do in life. Like I'm working this job that I hate. I have bigger dreams for myself. And she ends up rekindling a romance with a guy that she dated 7 years prior. And you can see how like much they struggled in their like previous relationship. And whenever you figure out like why they broke up, it's like, ooh, like I get it, sis. Like, and he ends up being the director and producer for a show she ends up working on. So it's also like a it's a story that is kind of forbidden because they're not supposed to be together. So this is another great, heartfelt, deep romance. I could not put this one down. I rated this one 4.5 out of 5 stars as well. So many great reads, honestly. And now let's get into the fluffy romances. If you like books by Lynn Painter or just like super fluffy, cutesy books that like don't have any spice or very minimal spice, you will like these. The first book is The Homecoming War. This book was so cute. It's about two people who are going to different schools and their schools end up like merging, and in that merger they have like two like top academic dogs, like two top dogs in the academic field, and they've always been rivals. So now they're going to the same school, so as you can imagine they are definitely rivals in this school, and they are like pranking each other. Like even though they're all in the same school, they're still like kind of divided. So like one school is like, we're gonna prank them and do this, and the other school is like, we're gonna prank you and do that. And it's so cute. It is so cute. It's set in high school. I feel like if you like cutesy romances that doesn't have spice in it but still gives you those like cutesy little feelings, you will really like this one. I think this one also came out this year as well. Another book, this one has minimal spice, is The Kiss Countdown. This one is fluffy, it is cute. It's about a girl who is a event planner, but she's really been struggling, like down bad. She gets dumped by her boyfriend and she ends up seeing him in this coffee shop, and he's like, oh hey, like who are you here with? And she's like, oh that guy, I'm with that guy. And it was a guy that she met when she was like at a random like conference or something, and they did not get along. And so he's like, what are you talking about? Like, I don't even really know you. And she's like, go along with it. So he like pretends to be her boyfriend, and then after like her ex-boyfriend leaves, she's like, thanks for saving me there. He's like, well, you can actually repay me because my family, they've been on me about like getting a girlfriend, so you can pretend to be my girlfriend. So then this whole thing like continues where they like fake date because like his family, and he's like, if you continue to pretend to be my girlfriend, like I got some ways to help you out because you've been struggling financially. So it is a really cute book. They end up, you know, having a connection, and it's just so cutesy and fun. Very fluffy, not a ton of spice, just very, very, very minimal. And another book that has like no spice is Rhythm and Muse by India Hill Brown. This is one of my favorite books to recommend because again, it is super underrated. I think this one only has like 1,000 reviews, and it's one of my favorite like cutesy romances, mostly because the main character is a guy, and I don't feel like you see that a lot, but also it's just such a cute story. So it's about a guy, he is like, he's had feelings for this girl for a really long time, and the girl has a podcast, and she's looking for like a new jingle for her podcast. So she puts it out there and she's like, hey, anyone who can send in a song, I might put it on the podcast. So he sends in a song anonymously, and she's like, ooh, this one's perfect, I want to pick it. But the person who sent it in, I don't even know their name. And so like everyone's trying to figure out who is this guy who sent in this song. It's so good, but he's like too shy to speak up and say that he's the one who did it. Again, no spice. There's also like little glimpses of like them going to church. Nothing like too like wild, but it definitely does have that in there, which I think is cute. I don't think that this is like marketed as a Christian book because it doesn't really show anything other than just like actively going to church as like a activity that they do, but it is so cute. It is just an enjoyable story, and he ends up having to find courage, and he ends up having to tell her how he feels, even though it's kind of scary. And I just feel like it's a really good story for anyone who likes a fluffy romance. Now, to get into something that's the complete opposite of fluff, we're gonna get into the urban romance. Now, this is the books for people who like if you like books that are, you know, the dark romance vibes. Like, we know the dark romance girl is what y'all like. Like, y'all like stuff that's a little messed up, like Jennifer Hartman, like, you know, Haunting Adeline. Like, this isn't that same vein because it's definitely different content, but it definitely has like, you know, there's gonna be people who are like drug lords who, you know, they're doing some wild stuff. If you like dark romance, I feel like you'll like this. It's not the same, but definitely gives a similar vibe. Like, I just feel like you'll really like it. The first book that I always recommend is Demon's Dream by Elle Kaysen. This book is thick, but you will finish it fast. You will not want to put it down. It's about a girl whose brother, he has done something to like offend the like, what's it called? Like the other gang, and his dad is like, hey, you're literally gonna get us all killed. Like, you can't be doing stuff like that. And So the sister, she kind of always cleans up the message. She's like, you know what, I'll figure it out. Like, I will talk to the other gang and like see if they, you know, will come to like some kind of truce. So they're like, we'll come to a truce, but only if you will like be with my son for 30 days. And like, he can pretty much do whatever he wants with you, however he wants to have you. And she's like, isn't your son the same guy that people are like literally scared of? And they literally call him Demon because he like just people at any moment. And he's like, yeah, that's my son. So that is the vibe of this story. It also is told from 4 different points of view, which I feel like even though it's thick, it doesn't get boring because it's told from the main girl's point of view. It's told from Demon's point of view. That's not his real name. That's like his nickname. It's also told from his friend's point of view and then her sister's point of view. So you get tons of different POVs. Tons of stuff happens in this book. If you like a toucher and you die type of man, you will love this story. Another book that gives a toucher and you die type of vibe is Luca by Gray Huffington. This man, oh my God, this guy in this story is like, I will protect you at all costs. Like, I ate this book up. I rated both of these books, like Demon's Dream and Luca, I rated both of them 4 stars. Like, they were so, so good. And I immediately bought the rest of this series because I did not want to just like not read the rest of the series. So it's about Luca. He is super rich. Like, this guy is like mega millionaire. And he has this like super nice house, like everything. He meets this girl, they lock eyes, and it's kind of like fated. Like, he's just like, it's over for me. Like, she's it for me. And she needs to be protected and taken care of because he is the type that people are wanting to come at him left and right, and they want to hurt anyone that is like connected to him in any way. It is so good. I cannot say enough about this book. I love this book. It's incredible. And I need to continue the rest of the series because I could not put that book down. Another super unhinged and wild story is really anything by Octavia Grant, but the book I'm going to share is Dear Vicky. I also have read Body Count and I've read Work Husband. Work Husband was my first book by this author. Unhinged, absolutely unhinged. Dear Vicky, also absolutely unhinged. This is about a guy who goes to a grocery store. He sees a girl and he's like, oh my God, I think that she's supposed to be my wife, and like stalks her the entire story. And you guys will not guess how this story ends. Like, her books are so unhinged. They're also less than like 80 pages. I think that this is 81 pages. And I think her other book, Work Husband, is like 82, somewhere around there, like that type of like short story. And it's so, so easy to get through. If you're ever in a slump, pick up one of her books. I already have some of her books like ordered because I need her books always, at all times, because just in case I get into a book slump or feel like I'm going into one, I have to pick up one of her books. And then Somebody's Wife by Robbie Renee. Super, super spicy. If you guys want a video that's like no spice or books with lots of spice, let me know. I would love to share a video like that. I've already done a video like with books with no spice, but I haven't done a book video that's like books with no spice by Black authors, or books with spice by Black authors, even though like most of these have spice. But let me know if you guys would like to see that. Anytime I share this book on TikTok, Instagram, the comments go wild. Everyone's like, oh my God, I've read that book, it's so good. Like feral, like everyone is like, I love that book so much. And I loved it too. I feel like I can't say too much about this book because I feel like it kind of gives it away. So I'll read a little bit of the back just so that you can like know what happens in the book without me actually spoiling anything. But it says, Gemma had me at hello, but she was somebody's wife. I'm gonna leave it at that, okay? I'm gonna leave it at that. I can't say too much, but I will say you will not want to put it down. It is spicy. I wouldn't say that this gives dark romance vibes. I don't think like it gives that, but it doesn't really fit in any other category. It's spicy. It gives the same level of like spice that you would get in dark romance, because this is like, whoo, this is spicy. But I just didn't really know what category to put it in because it's definitely not like fluffy, you know what I mean? And then a book, these are books that are with guys that are like cinnamon roll, like super sweet, like just caring, thoughtful, like those guys, you know what I mean? And I wanted to have a section like that because I love reading books like that where the guys just like will do anything for the girl and they're super sweet and thoughtful. And the first book that made me think of that is A Love Like the Sun by Riss M. Nielsen. This book recently came out. Loved it so much. It's about best friends who, they've been best friends for years and he got famous and she has a business, it's kind of been struggling and he's like, hey, I actually have an idea that can help your business. Like, do you want to go along with it? Whenever she figures out what the idea is, she's like, I don't know if I want to do this. Like, I just feel like that's too much. And he's like, no, like we have to like do this idea because it's really going to help your business. And he cares about her so much and will literally do anything for her. And if you like a friends to lovers story, this is so good. It also has representation in this for chronic illness. And I feel like you don't see that too often in stories either. So again, just such a great story. Another book that I really loved, and that one I think came out this year. Another book that I really loved is Fast by Millie Belazar. This is a book that will make you sob. Like, you will not be able to stop crying. And the reason why I always recommend this in my videos, I think I recommended it in the last video with like black girls being loved down, is because the main character is so soft and sweet to the girl who, well, the main guy character, like the MMC is so soft and sweet to the main female character. He will do anything for her and he is her next door neighbor. They met when she was 8 and he was 8 and she's going through a lot of things, like really struggling, like has a very hard home life, and you see her from age 8 through age 30. Something kind of pulls them apart, and as adults, they end up reconnecting and you see her try to like open her own business and be successful even though she came from nothing, and he still is like, you know what, I've always like seen you as like the most beautiful, incredible person I've ever met. Like you, I would hang the moon and stars for you. Like he is just so sweet. Even though it's such a sad story, he's kind of like her lifeline, and I really like that. And another book that definitely has a similar vibe is Where We Found Our Passion by Natasha Bishop. Now, I shared Only for the Week by Natasha Bishop in one of my last videos, so I didn't want to share the same book or same type of like book, but this one is a really good book, but it is book 3 in the series. You don't have to read them in order, but if you're gonna read all 3, I guess you could just read book 1 first, but they're all, I've heard, very good. I just read book 3. I've only read book 3, so I can't say like what book 1 or 2 are like, but I have bought them. She's an author for me because her writing is so easy to read. Her books are usually less than 300 pages. This is about 2 best friends. Again, these are all, see, this is why I think that like the cutesy, like cinnamon roll boys are my favorite, because they're almost always like friends to lovers stories. But this is about a couple, they date in high school, and the main girl character, she's always been working towards being a like famous soccer player. And something pulls them apart as kids, and she ends up actually being a famous soccer player as an adult. She injures herself and she has to go to a physical therapist, and what do you know, the physical therapist is the guy that she dated in high school that she like never really got over. So he has to kind of nurse her back to health, and he has always like had feelings for her, but she's just like, I just don't know if I like want to restart this again because of X, Y, and Z. It is just so good. So those are all the books that I really love. They're all about Black women and they're all beautiful love stories. I tried to share lots of books that maybe you haven't seen before. Some books you have seen and maybe you need to get a little nudge to like actually pick it up and read it. Lots of books from different types of, like, not genres, but like types of romance. I didn't want to share the same type of romance over and over again. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope that you guys will pick up some of these books. Let me know what your favorite books by Black authors are so we can find more books in the comments, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye guys!